Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for tonight's coverage of the Thunderstruck SamAllyCo Late Model Series. Tonight, these late models will be taking on the high banks of Southern National Motorsports Park for 100 laps of racing action. I'm going to be your announcer for tonight. My name is Atlee @ManWaste, and I'm excited to call every second of tonight's short track racing coverage. All right, we've gotten the first race jitters out of the way. Season opener was last week at Myrtle Beach Speedway, and we saw some jitters. 10 cautions during that race, 4 lead changes. After it was all said and done, after starting on the pole, went for a little roller coaster ride in between the start and the finish. Dylan Bates ended up bringing it home with the win. He led 27 of the 108 laps. Finishing second was Jacob Bain. He led a race most 34 laps. Third was Eric Tracy. Fourth was Mason Gerdes. He was the biggest move of the race after starting in 15th. And rounding at your top 5, that was John Bennett. We saw some strong drivers that have had tough breaks. AJ Rogers finished 14th, although he led 27 laps. And after getting involved in a tough accident, Sam Wetstein finished in 16th, and he led 20 laps. So, after the first race of the season, Dylan Bates is your point standings leader. He has a 1-point lead over Jacob Bain. Eric Tracy is third, 4 points back. Fourth is Mason Gerdes. He's 5 points back from the point standings lead. And rounding at your top 5 in points, that's John Bennett. He is 6 back from the point standings lead. And of course, none of this would be possible without proud sponsor of the Late Model Series, SamAllyCo. SamAllyCo is your one-stop shop for great gifts. You can find a wide variety of artful and expressive candles, graphic tees, and mugs on their easy-to-navigate website. And SamAllyCo also offers PC builds and repairs for those in the Fort Wayne, Indiana area. So check out their website, SamAlly.com. There you see it on your screen in the top right. And check out all of the cool items that they have to offer. The holidays are coming up, so that's your great destination to purchase gifts. And also, the birthday season is always here. Everybody's always having birthdays, so perfect place to grab gifts there. Looking at practice, Corey Bigley is on the top of the board with a 13.94. Second is AJ Rogers with a 13.97. Third, it's Eric Tracy with a 13.98. Very close is Dylan Bates, another 13.98. And rounding at your top 5, that's Aaron Abendroth, who ran a 14.00. So the field really, really tight. I have a feeling it's going to be another close, contentious race, just like we saw at Myrtle Beach. I mean, this is a competitive field. So here we go. Qualifying is underway. Who will grab the pole and have the optimal starting position of P1? Already have some cars on the track. Looks like there's Eric Tracy heading out there. Driver number 66. We see there's Aaron Abendroth. And that's 65, wrapping the bottom. This main tricky thing about this track is if you clip that apron, it is going to get you all sorts of upset. Tyler Rice out there. Driver number 6. See Sam Wetstein to the top of the board. 14.13. Then we see Jake Bain swoops in. And then Eric Tracy breaks into the 13s. He goes to the top of the board with a 13.98. Now Aaron Abendroth to second. He's 200ths off of Tracy. Jake Bain is now third, 300ths off of the 66. Tyler Rice puts it in 9th. There's Chris Reese trying to improve on his second lap. Aaron Ward currently sitting 12th. He completes lap number 2. Improves a little bit to a 14.47. Rick Rube breaking into the top 5 with a 14.07, and Dylan Bates to the top of the board with a 13.93. It's been a good week for Dylan Bates so far as he won the mini stock race on Monday. Of course, 2 very different cars between the mini stocks and, of course, these late models, but still, good start to the week for driver 91. There's Corey Bigley on track, looking for a big-time gain on lap number 2, off of 4. He will jump to 3rd with a 13.98, putting him 0.05 off of your current pole sitter. There's Mason Gerdes, lap number 1, he puts it 12th. Will we see an improvement? Yeah, he does hop up a little bit, up to 11th. Now 12th as Elliott Carlson goes to 8th. But we did see Mason Gerdes start 15th last week, and he worked his way into a top 5. I'm sure he's hoping to do the same thing here tonight. Elliott Carlson completes his 2nd lap. Actually, no, looks like he's just staying out there getting a little bit of extra laps in, but let's talk about the track that we are racing at tonight. In a little more than 2 decades, Southern National Motorsports Park has earned a reputation as one of the premier short tracks in the Carolinas. Opened in 1993, the 17-degree Bank Ford 10th of a mile Speedway became part of NASCAR's Home Tracks program as a host of NASCAR's Whelen Modified Series, and the track may be short on length, but the action still reigns at this tight, impressive oval. I've raced there in person, and that banking may look tiny on the screen here, but it is extremely daunting. But the track is really fast. It's really fun. It's not really, you don't have to use a ton of brakes. But the wrecks and the accidents definitely have a bigger impact because of the higher speeds. It's really fast. Look at that. Looking at the times, drivers are getting as fast as 105 miles per hour. That's kind of that max speed there on the straightaways. Very quick. Obviously, we are running in these late model stock cars. They are the newest late model stock vehicle that has replaced the old Chevy Monte Carlo SS. Car's late model stock is a 500 horsepower V8 roaring beast for many short tracks and mile oval tracks throughout the Southeast. The car's double arm suspension with coilover shocks and springs combined with the truck arm and track bar, giving it the stability, agility, and proper turning needed to get around the bigger short tracks and wider mile oval tracks with relative ease. The car also features a 4-speed manual transmission with a 475 foot-pounds of torque, giving it some serious muscle out on the track. I say it every week, if you haven't gotten an opportunity to see a late model stock car race in person, you definitely need to see one. Some of the best action, some of the best racing one can watch. It's got Flow Racing. You can definitely check it out there. Cars Tour on there, many other late model series. But it is now time for our heat race. Everybody from the heat will make the feature, and we have one driver in the heat. That's Kieran Church, the driver out of Mesa, Arizona. He had a bit of a rough race after starting in 2nd, finished 9th last week at Myrtle Beach. Not the qualifying run that he wanted. In the 16s, he must have spun or messed something up. So he will get 20 laps to continue to get things dialed in, shake things down. This is a fixed setup league, so not many ways to adjust the car, but you do have the option. I mean, the main tool that drivers will have in their toolbox is brake bias. You can adjust it to where it's a little bit more towards the front or a little bit more towards the rear. Rear gives it a little bit more rotation. Front braking gives it a little bit more stability. And there's an in-car adjustment black box in the car where you can mess with that throughout the race. So maybe if your car's getting freer as the run gets on, you can dial a little bit more front brake into it, or if it's getting pushing like a dump truck, he can pile in some rear brake. But here we go. Kieran Church, and he's already crashed. And maybe that's what happened in qualifying. Watching Kieran Church here, gassing it up off of turn number 4. And looks like as he gasses it up, car just comes out from underneath him. And he just goes around there. So tough start to the heat race for Kieran Church. So we continue to, got 15 laps to go in the heat race. Continue to pace. Kieran Church right now. Now, we'll say this. This is the first time that these Thunderstruck late models in the first 2 seasons never went to Southern National. So this is the first time we've had a late model race here at Southern National. It's definitely a tricky track for sure. But it's a track that most drivers are familiar with. It's one of the free tracks that you get when you first join the iRacing platform. So if you're an oval racer, it's one of the first places you go, turn laps. So I'd say that practically everybody in this race has countless laps here at Southern National. It may just be in different cars, might be in the Legend car, Street Stock, Super Late Model, Modifieds. Obviously, these late models a little bit newer to the platform. Even newer is the mini stocks that we have on Monday nights. Those are a cool addition. If you haven't already, make sure to rewatch those broadcasts. The Thunderstruck mini stock series on Monday and the Thunderstruck Modifieds on Wednesday. Both of them put on great shows. Announcer Alex Veith was up there in the booth. I think Modifieds were at 5 flags, and then I raced in the mini stock race at the Oswego Mini Oval. That place is weird. Late models will not be going there. They'll just be going to the normal Oswego Oval. And we've got, coming up on 5 laps to go, Kieran just ran his fastest lap time of the race with a 14.16. And we see we do have a new Intensity Broadcasting logo for the month of October, honoring Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Kieran Church winding down the laps. Look at this. He's got a lot more seat time than many other drivers have going into this race, thanks to this heat race. So I'm sure maybe Kieran is happy with this opportunity to be able to get to run some more laps. Do appreciate everybody that's tuned in here on Intensity Broadcasting. Make sure to hit that like button, follow button, subscribe. Check out our web store, intensitybroadcasting.com. We've got a lot of cool merchandise on there. And also, if you have a business, race team, or need any kind of t-shirts made, make sure to message Intensity Apparel on Facebook, and we can get you a quote and get you any kind of merchandise, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, whatever you want for your business, racing team, etc. We've done a lot of cool things for race teams, restaurants. So if you're in need of any of that, let us know. Intensity Apparel. We'd be happy to help you. We are going to have a quick 2-minute warm-up just to give these drivers one last opportunity to get their cars dialed in before the feature. There's Chris Reese out there, just here for the safety rating. Chris, not a bad race. Top 10 after starting 11th. Made it through a lot of the carnage that was very prominent throughout last week's race. Josh Oswald, not so lucky. He finished 11th after being in contention for the win. So we'll see if the Jet can rebound tonight here at Southern National. So far here in the warm-up, Corey Bigley on the top of the board with a 14.01. As I say that, your pole sitter Dylan Bates hops up there. Then it's Corey Bigley. Then it's AJ Rogers in third with a 14.06. Eric Tracy jumps up to a 14.05. Tracy on the podium last week at Myrtle Beach. Ooh, see Church into the outside wall. Oh, we got a wreck. Oh, Aaron Ward, 3 wide. AJ Rogers into the inside wall. There's Dylan Bates. He will end this warm-up on the top of the board. So that'll do it for the warm-up. Time to go feature racing. All right, let's take a look at your starting lineup. Starting on the pole with a scorching hot lap time of 13.928. It's the 91 of Dylan Bates. On his outside, that's Eric Tracy in the 66. Third is the 28 of Corey Bigley. Fourth, it's Aaron Abendroff in the 65. And rounding out your top 5, it's the 18 of Jake Boehm. In 6th, it's AJ Rogers in the 17. 7th is the 81 of Rick Rube. 8th, it's Elliot Carlson in the 09. 9th, it's the 98 Velocity Motorsports driver of Sam Wetstein. And rounding out your top 10, it's Highside Racing's Chris Reese in the 62. 11th is the 17 Velocity Motorsports driver of Josh Oswald. 12th, it's the Atlee Weiss Intensity Broadcasting racing driver of Mason Gerdes in the 22. 13th, Dark Horse Motorsports is Alex Veith in the 51. 14th, it's the 6 Oval Addicts driver of Tyler Rice. And rounding out your top 15, it's Aaron Ward in the 99. And rounding out the field in 16th, it's Velocity Motorsports' Kieran Church in the 22. So here we go. You've seen where your favorite driver starts. Now it's time to see where they finish. 16 stout late models out there on track. Anybody could win it. So it's Corey Bigley, Jake Boehm making up your front row. Jake Boehm was runner-up last week at Myrtle Beach, trying to finish one spot more. Actually, no, apologies. That's Eric Tracy who was on the podium last week. He's starting second. Here we go. Gonna make one more trip around. I think maybe we had a delayed green, perhaps? And Dylan Bates did not grid. I don't know if maybe he had issues, but the driver who was gonna be your pole sitter will not be making the race. So with that being said, it's Corey Bigley and Eric Tracy, and we still remain under yellow. Delayed green. Not sure exactly what we're getting figured out. I guess the fact that Bates didn't grid kind of messed things up. There we go. Pace car making that hard left turn onto pit road. Green flag is in the air, and Corey Bigley will lead the field into turns 1 and 2. He's got the nose over Tracy as they take it off the corner, and he will get clear. Now Jake Boehm fighting. He heads down to the bottom, wrapping that lip of the banking. And he's trying to get up clear of Tracy for second, but he remains, and there we go. He is able to get clear, and now the floodgates open. Rick Rube able to get underneath Eric Tracy for third. He wraps that bottom, and he is able to get in line into third. So Corey Bigley, fastest car on track, 14.46 was his most recent lap time. Now Rick Rube trying to set something up on Jake Boehm for second. Just waiting to see what that 18's doing. And right behind Rick Rube, he's got pressure from AJ Rogers. So Rube playing some offense, or excuse me, Boehm playing some offense and defense right now. So is Rube. Look at this train. Field very, very tight right now. Just waiting to see who will make a move first. Jake Boehm, quick time, 14.30. Fastest lap time of the race. He's currently trying to track down Corey Bigley for this race lead. And Dylan Bates has finally gotten onto the racetrack. And looks like he did not go a lap down. He did end up making the race, so that's why they delayed it. They delayed it until he could join. But he is currently 6 seconds behind the field. So can he go from last to first and get 2 in a row? We're about to see what 91 can do. Another quick time, 14.09. That 91 is quick, but he's got 15 cars he needs to pass to try to get to this race lead. And he's able to get by Kieran Church. Now trying to pick off Tyler Rice. Top 3 remains the same. A little bit of a train right now. Just waiting to see who is going to slip up and open up that bottom. That is the thing about Southern National, is it's pretty much a one-groove racetrack. Unless you're in that specific groove, it's really hard to make something work. And because of that banking, can't really dive down and make a pass, because if you clip that apron, it's going to be a bad time. Jake Boehm is closing on your race leader, Corey Bigley, a little bit. It's going to be all about also who can do a better job at saving tires, but compared to some other tracks, tire saving doesn't mean as much, just because newer surface, banking serves as sort of a crutch to not wear the tires as much. But Jake Boehm, he's got a big run off of 4, looking low underneath the 28. Can't quite get underneath him, but this 18 is quick right now. He just ran his personal best lap time of the race. And he will once again look underneath Bigley for first. Corey will shut the door, and Boehm will have to continue to try to come up with another way around this 28. Bigley Ran his best lap time of the race, 14.32. I guess he kind of saw the pressure that 18 was putting on him. Says, hey, I need to go. Another fast lap for him, 14.29. Elsewhere in the field, AJ Rogers trying to get by Rick Rube for this third place spot. Playing a little bit of the cat and mouse game right now. Let's see what Rogers can do. He's got a nice run there off of 4. Looks like he's gaining time on exit, but Rube is much better entry to center. So Rogers has just got to try to maybe fix that entry a little bit. But it looks like he's arcing that corner a little bit more than Rube to try to get lower and a better run off. Just so far has not worked for the 17. And now Rube is closing in on Jake Boehm. Just a second ago, Jake was making a fight for the lead. Now he's about to maybe fall to third. Rube to the left rear of the 18. Down the backstretch, Jake still with the nose on the outside. But there's Rick Rube on the bottom. He's got a nice run off of turn number 4. Boehm holding strong on the outside, trying to shut the door on the 81. But Rube is still there. Boehm making it work, and he's able to get back clear of the 81 for the time being. But look at this, from about 2nd all the way to 6th, really tight racing. Now Rogers trying to get underneath Rick Rube. We see he dives down low. We see Rick able to shut the door, though. And we are a quarter of the way through this race. Corey Bigley dominant so far. He's got a 1.5 second lead after starting on the pole due to the departure of Dylan Bates from the grid. So now we just watch all the craziness that's going on from about 2nd all the way to 7th. It's like a ticking time bomb with all of these drivers right now. But we're especially watching Rick Rube chasing Jake Boehm for this race lead. AJ Rogers also right there behind Rick Rube. Big run for Rube off of turn number 4. Trying to get closer to that back bumper of the 18. Waiting for Boehm to make a mistake, seeing where he's maybe giving up that bottom. Rick can kind of swoop in. Again, great exit for Rube. Got right up to the back bumper of the 18, but not able to do anything with it. And there we go. Rube looking low off of 4. Not able to get underneath the 18. There you go. Looks low again through 3 and 4. He's able to get to the left rear. Oh, the 18 spins. He slides. They touch. Rick Rube able to get the spot now to 2nd. It's Eric Tracy Boehm duking it out for 3rd. Tracy with the momentum on the bottom. And I am not sure exactly what happened there. Boehm was up in the racetrack, and all of a sudden, oh, he's still really loose. That 18, oh, he goes around off the nose of the 09. They're able to save it, but he stops on the racetrack. And that will bring out the first caution of the race. See exactly what happened there. Jake Boehm was really squirrely, fell all the way to 4th. He's got AJ Rogers on his outside, and as he gasses it up, car just comes out from underneath him. Barely misses hitting the 17. So Elliot Carlson sees this loss of momentum. He dives down to the bottom. And he actually goes up the racetrack a little bit just because he pinched off that entry. clips the left rear of the 18, sending Bame around. And then Carlson just makes contact with the 18 once again. Nobody else really getting involved, everybody able to make it through. But Jake Bame losing a ton of track position. He's into the pits, getting some of that damage fixed. Same thing with Aaron Ward. I'm not exactly sure where he got some damage. So that'll shake up the field a little bit. So far, Rick Rube has been the biggest mover of the race. He started in 7th, and he has made quick work getting side of Corey Bigley. On this restart again, Corey Bigley's on the bottom, Rick Rube on the top. Then it's Eric Tracy, AJ Rogers, Aaron Abendroth. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air, and Corey Bigley up through the gears, leading this field of late model stock cars into turns 1 and 2. We see Rick Rube able to tuck in line into 2nd. Eric Tracy is 3rd, but he's trying to get to the 81. He gets right to the left rear off of turn number 4. Rick trying to shut the door. Not able to do so. Tracy still applying that pressure on the bottom. They make some contact. Rick fighting strong, and he is able to get clear of the 66 as they head off of turn number 2. So Tracy tucking in line into 2nd, but still trying to work his way by Rick Rube for this 2nd place spot. Tracy right now waiting for that 81 to make a mistake, slip up, exactly like we saw Bame did. And then it's just really tight behind them. 2nd to 5th. You could throw a blanket over him right now. But we're still all eyes on this battle for 2nd. That time by Eric Tracy, about 500ths faster than Rick Rube. And we see he's having to be a little bit protective now as AJ Rogers fights for that 3rd place spot, so he loses a little bit of ground on Rube, but he fights back. Big run off of turn number 2. Just trying to do something with it. Loses a little bit of ground on entry of 1 and 2. Tracy looking low, heading into 1. Can he get to that left rear of Rick Rube? Not able to do so. He tucks back in line. But Tracy has the speed. There we go. Tracy looking low, able to get to the left rear of the 81. He's to his door now. Back down to his left rear. Rick Rube doing a great job defending. Even on the outside lane, he's been able to make it work. But uh-oh, don't look now. Fastest car on the racetrack is Dylan Bates in 5th. But Tracy's back underneath Rube. They're side by side off of 2. Rube still with the nose on the outside as they take it into 3 and 4. Keeping up some good pace ball, but he taps the outside wall, loses a ton of momentum, and Eric Tracy now is able to get clear of Rick Rube, slips in front, up to 2nd. There goes AJ Rogers now, taking advantage of that slip up from Rube. He's fighting for 3rd. Rogers has the nose off of turn number 2. He keeps inching ahead as they take it off the final corner to the front stretch, making a little bit of contact. Rube's like, let me down, let me down. Once you get stuck up on that outside, it's hard to get back to the bottom of the racetrack, which is really the only groove here. Rogers still with the nose. Not quite clear yet, though. Rube is fighting hard on the outside, but this is burning off a lot of tires compared to if he was just riding behind him or riding in the bottom lane. We see Dylan Bates waiting patiently there in 5th. Missed the start of the race, had to start from the pits, but he quickly worked his way up to the field. And now Rick Rube able to get clear for 3rd. Bates underneath AJ Rogers there for 4th. Rogers has the nose on the outside, but there's Bates fighting back on the bottom. Bates crosses that start-finish line with the nose. But Rogers trying to do like Rick Rube did and hold strong on the outside. He knows that if he gets stuck up here, that's going to be multiple positions losses. Abendroff is right there. Bates, not quite clear yet, and he's also trying to pick off Rick Rube as well, as he's got a really nice exit. He gets underneath the 81 through 1 and 2. Rube has the nose on the outside, but there's Bates. Big run off of 4, they touch. Now AJ Rogers makes contact with the 81. He's trying to follow right behind the 91, says, hey, do the dirty work for me. But they all tuck in line, and Dylan Bates is up into the top 3 after starting this race in the rear of the field. What a run it's been for driver number 91. Just 2 more cars he needs to pick off to get to the race lead. Now AJ Rogers still trying to fight by Rick Rube for 4th. He's got a big run off of 2. Full head of steam into 3 and 4. But Rube blocking, keeping that back bumper of the 17 at bay. Now Rogers looking to the outside, trying to make it work up there. And wow, he is able to do so. AJ Rogers, he must have been that much faster, because he's able to get right around Rick Rube up to position number 4. Dylan Bates has now caught Eric Tracy for 2nd. He dives low through 1 and 2. Scoots on by, and the 91 is up to P2. Continuing his trek up through the field. One more driver he needs to get to, that's Corey Bigley. But Corey right now, 3-second lead over 2nd place Dylan Bates right now. It's going to take a lot of strength to close that gap. Elsewhere in the field, Josh Oswald trying to make it by Rick Rube, as Rube continues to lose position after position. On the most recent restart, he restarted in 2nd, but the floodgates have opened, and he's about to lose another spot as Oswald able to get underneath that 81. Rube shuts the door, but Oswald definitely has the speed. Once again, big run off of 4, dives down into 1 and 2. Still can't quite get there. There we go. To the door through 3 and 4. But Rube still able to stay clear. He's just able to get such a good run off the corner that Oswald's just not able to do. And caution flag is out. 2nd one of the race. Let's see what happened here. We're watching Mason Gerdes. He's got Chris Reese on his outside. Looks like he gets cleared. Watching Jake Boehm, he's got Alex Veith on his outside. Boehm just comes up into the 51, gets sideways. Reese able to go high. but Gerdes nowhere to go, plows right into the left rear quarter panel of the 18. And that sends the 22 around. Tough break for both drivers. Bame and Gerdes. Bame started this one in the top 5, was competing for the lead for a second. But now he's on pit road getting some damage fixed. Gerdes did as well. Kieran Church also getting some damage fixed. But speaking of another driver that started this one from pit road, Dylan Bates. Has quickly worked his way up through the field. All the way to second now, just has one more driver he needs to get by. That's Corey Bigley, who did have a pretty decent gap, but as soon as that caution came out, it quickly evaporated. Looks like after getting some damage fixed, Mason Gerdes has gone down a lap. Jake Bame has gone down multiple laps. I don't know what's the damage. 2 laps. Unless we have a lot of cautions, his chance at the win is practically done. Rough go at it there for Bame after parking it on the podium last week. Green flag is in the air. Corey Bigley leads the field into 1 and 2, but there's Bates tucking in line in second. He taps the back bumper of the 28, looking low, heading into 3 and 4. Bates is right there. To the left rear, to the door, side by side as they cross the start finish line. They remain door handle to door handle through 1 and 2. Bates now with the nose as they take it into 3 and 4, and he is able to get clear. Dylan Bates has done it. Went from last to first in just, I don't know, about 78 laps. That is impressive. Absolutely impressive, to say the least. What a run it's been for Dylan Bates. But Corey Bigley not letting him run free yet. He is keeping it right on the back bumper of the 91. Waiting for Bates to slip up, keeping that pressure. Watching to see what, and that's exactly what Bigley needed there. Caution flag is out. Looks like Tyler Rice has crashed. So they're heading off of 4. We see Sam Wetstein ahead of him. Mason Gerdes behind Rice. Up ahead, now Reese and Wetstein side by side. Looks like Reese, contact there with the 51. That sends him around right in front of Tyler Rice. Rice just nowhere to go, and oh! Maybe got a little bit of help there from Mason Gerdes. But we see Reese into the inside wall. But I believe that will give the 22 of Gerdes the lucky dog. And actually, no, because he was involved in the caution, I think it actually gave Bame the lucky dog. So Bates able to get to the race lead. Now he's just got to hang on to it, but he's got some tough competitors right behind him, including Corey Bigley. Lights on, the pace car are off. Getting ready to go back green. Dylan Bates on the bottom, Bigley on the top. Then it's AJ Rogers, Eric Tracy, and Josh Oswald. He's found himself into the top 5. Pace car is in. Green flag is back out, and there's Dylan Bates. Up through the gears. Taking this gaggle of late models into 1 and 2. Bigley tucks in line into second. Tracy will shimmy his way into third. So now Corey Bigley trying to track Bates down and snatch this race lead back. But time is running out, less than 15 laps to go in this race. Bates starting to extend that gap now. Tracy trying to close in on Bigley for second. Bates, fastest car on the racetrack, 14.09, fastest lap time of the race. He's done a great job at saving tires despite the daunting task of having to work his way up through the field. Elsewhere, Elliott Carlson has gotten by Oswald for fifth. Now trying to get by AJ Rogers, and we got a caution flag. Chris Reese's rough night continues. There's Aaron Ward up above Alex Veith. He gets all the way up in the marbles, and I can see where this is headed. Just hits the outside wall. Gets really squirrely, almost gets into Mason Gerdes. And Chris Reese just drives it in. Then Boehm sends it 3 wide, and oh my gosh, that was horrible net code. Look at that. There was at least a Bible's width between those two. Yeah. Wow. That was crazy. I mean, that's netcode at its finest, and for those of you who may not be familiar with that iRacing jargon, netcode is when the simulation registers you as hitting somebody and predicts you hitting somebody, but it really doesn't show that you did and you really didn't. Because iRacing has a really good damage model. They can predict damage really well, but sometimes they flub it up. And that happened exactly there. Much to the dismay of Aaron Ward. If that hadn't have happened, then I think Chris Reese would have just went around and collected Jake Boehm. But Aaron Ward, unfortunately, was collected as well. Mason Gerdes will get the lucky dog back onto the lead lap. The lights on the pace car are off. Dylan Bates going to try to close this race out. Corey Bigley on his outside. It's Eric Tracy, AJ Rogers, Elliott Carlson. Pace car's in. 6-lap shootout. Here we go. Dylan Bates able to get clear of Corey Bigley. Eric Tracy tries to tuck in line there for third. He is able to do so. Now he is all over the back bumper of Corey Bigley. He drives it hard into 3 and 4. Not quite able to get to the back bumper of the 28. So Bigley will stay in second for the time being. 5 laps to go for Dylan Bates. What a run it has been for this 91. Due to some difficulties, had to start from pit road. Worked his way from last. He has gotten all the way up to first in only 78 laps. In such a competitive field. And he's just running away with it. Corey Bigley hangs on the second for the time being. Eric Tracy is still there in third. Ready to pounce, but time is running out. 2 laps to go. What can Tracy do? Bigley's just got to really be defensive here when he has to be. But I don't even know if Tracy can catch his back bumper. So white flag is in the air. Dylan Bates has a pretty good gap. Not home free yet. Just has to make it through 3 and 4, though. And off of turn number 4, start the season with 2. Dylan Bates gets it done here at Southern National. Corey Bigley brings it home in second. Eric Tracy third. AJ Rogers fourth. Elliott Carlson in fifth. And we've got some carnage out there, but Dylan Bates gonna burn it down on the front stretch. Two wins to start off the season. And he gets slammed there by Alex Veith. So now here we go. Let's talk to the players of the game. Let's do your driver interviews. Starting off, getting in third for the second time this season, let's talk to Eric Tracy. Eric, this is out in the broadcast booth. Got a copy. Let's see, hang on. Let's try it again. Eric, this is out in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
Doing pretty good up here in the broadcast booth, and looks like he had another good run, bringing it home on the podium for the second time this season here at Southern National. But it was definitely a tricky race. Looked really hard to pass, but you're able to keep it in the top three for a lot of it. You were up there competing for the lead for a little bit, but after that couple restarts, just couldn't quite get by Corey there for the second place spot, but still great run, able to save tires really well. Just walk us through that race.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a podium at Southern National anytime. It's definitely not one of my favorite racetracks. I have a hard time keeping the right front on it at this place. So to be able to pull out a top three, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you mentioned, I mean, obviously with that banking, it definitely, eats up that right front. I mean, what's the key to combating that?
Just try to keep the car from sliding and don't overdrive the corner. But as my driving style, I tend to drive it pretty deep into the corner. So I'm pretty hard on right fronts on a track like this.
Now, before we let you go, is there any sponsors or shout outs?
Just all the VMS guys and, all the sponsors that help put this league on and help put the broadcast on and everything. It's fun to run the races.
Well, again, congrats on another podium. Good way to start the season. Congrats on the good run, Eric.
All right, thank you.
Now let's go ahead and talk to your second place finisher. This was his first race of the season. Average finish of second. Corey Bigley. Corey, this is out in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Awesome. Well, good way to start your season after missing the first race. You show up and able to start on the pole. You led a lot of the laps before Dylan, who was just working up through the field like a madman. He got back by you, and you kept it close with him, but you just couldn't quite get back by him for that race lead. So just, walk us through that race, leading those laps and just trying to chase back down Bates there in those closing stages.
Yeah, I think I just because when I wasn't doing bad. I knew these guys were trying to save hard, and I just know how when I'm out front, I know I could just pace myself and run out there. And I knew I was getting away, and then I could just watch the times. I know I could see Bates was a little bit better. I could see like a half a tenth better, and I'm like I was just trying to slow my pace back down. And then when he got to third, and then I just didn't need that yellow to come out, and then because it would have been hard for him to come back from that far back, like 2.8 seconds I saw, and it was just too hard for him. It would have been, but I just didn't need that yellow about with 30 to go, and I hit the wall on the back stretch. It messed the toe out, it knocked the toe out, and that just killed me even more. And that one, I hit it with like 30 in, and that just messed it up and burned the reference tire off too much. Because I usually don't really burn the reference tire off that much, but then I had to go for it. I was just trying to go for it at the end, just didn't have enough right front at the end.
I mean, to be throughout the race, it looked like it's a pretty much a one groove track. Looked really hard to pass. You kind of just had to stay in that one groove. So how did that kind of evolve as the race went on? Was there other places where you could maybe try to get a little bit more grip, or was it just kind of that one groove the whole time?
No, they said because I know the guys were running behind me. They said the top, it's hard to pass here with these cars because it's the top's momentum base really, and with these cars you have to kind of keep momentum up. But if you're leaning on somebody and they try to get underneath, I tried on Bates and I couldn't hang out there. I didn't have enough right front tire to stay out there. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna fall behind, ride a little bit, and then I just try to. And then we had those 2 yellows that helped cool my right front tire off, and then just got there. And yeah, but they said like, 'cause I seen like Rick was up top, and it just took like 3 or 4 laps for them to get by. Because like I said, it's just momentum based. It's so hard to pass up top with these cars, or on the bottom with these cars.
Now, before we let you go, is there any sponsors or shout outs?
Yeah, just all the guys at Velocity Motorsports, and I think that's pretty much it. Everybody, like I said, we raced pretty clean. It's just I was trying to win this one when I came back, and I don't race that much. I'm hit and miss. I'll be hit and miss every time. Just from the hurricane, we've been hit, I've been fine. We were fine over the hurricane. Milton, that was fine. It was way north of us, about 200, almost about 200 miles. We didn't lose power at our house, and we're doing good. Now we go back to work tomorrow and go back to kind of normal stuff, I hope.
I'm glad you made it through the storm. I know you are in that kind of Florida area, so glad you made it through. Glad you could race with us tonight. Awesome run. Have a good rest of your night.
All right, you too. Have a good night.
And now let's talk to your winner for the second time this season, Dylan Bates. Dylan, this is Atlee in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Awesome. Well, 2 wins to start off the season. This one was a little bit more tricky than the first one. It looks like you had maybe some technical difficulties on the grid. Had to start from pit road, but you sliced and diced your way up to the field really quickly, and by about lap 78, taking advantage of a caution, able to get right to Corey's right shoulder, and after that, got by him. Were able to hold him off the rest of the way, even with a few restarts. So, I mean, just walk us through that journey. You had to pass a lot of cars.
Yeah, it was a long road to hoe for sure. I honestly kind of wanted it to stay green. Starting that far back, my iRacing decided to crash right when they were gridding, so had to grid from the pits and roll on that way. I was kind of hoping it'd stay green because I knew those guys were going to be saving tires a lot harder than I was going to be able to. But fortunately, I was able to drive just soft enough that I had enough for Corey when I got there. The restarts did help some, and we were able to get Corey on that first restart when I got up there, and luckily it all worked out.
I mean, up front especially, it looked really hard to pass. So, I mean, how were you able to get by 15 cars in such a short amount of time?
This place is a lot like my home track here in real life, I-44 Speedway. So, like, if you really get down there and get the left front and left side tires in that seam down in the bottom, it's almost like a grip strip, like a traction strip, and it just kind of pulls the car through the corner if you hit it just right. And luckily, I was pretty disciplined tonight and was able to stay on that most of the time and just kind of pulled the car around the corner and kept the tires on it.
Now, before we let you go, is there any sponsors or shout-outs for your win?
Just all the guys at SPM Motorsports and or VMS Motorsports, I'm sorry, and SamAllyCo for sponsoring Thunderstruck Super Series, and yeah, whoever else is putting it on, Josh and all the guys.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on grabbing 2 in a row. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, man.
There you go. One more time. Round of applause there for Dylan Bates. Heck of a race, having to work his way all the way up through the field. 2 in a row to start the season. Definitely a great way to start the season. But got to give a big thank you to all of the Thunderstruck admins, Daniel Pope, Josh Oswald, Sam Wetstein, Alex Veith, Tyler Rice. Definitely got to thank all of them for all that they do. Aaron Ward. Got to give a big thank you to SamAllyCo for sponsoring the late model series. Definitely go check out their website, samally.com, for candles, graphic tees, mugs. Great place to buy gifts. And I got to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in to watch us tonight here on Intensity Broadcasting. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, as that would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to reach our goals of 2,500 followers on Facebook, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and 1,000 followers on Twitch. Check out our Twitter page, Intensity Broad 1, where he's dropping polls and interacting with our viewers on there. And check out our web store, intensitybroadcasting.com. We've got great merchandise on there, and we can also do custom screen printing for your business, race team, or event. Make sure to turn on that notification bell, because we will be back in action next week with this late model series at USA International. So that'll be a fun one. Not going to want to miss that. So whatever platform you watch on, turn on that notification bell. I'm Atlee @ManWeast on behalf of the entire Intensity Broadcasting team. Thank